Bonjour and hola, my name is Shola and I got all grade 9s in my GCSEs. Today I'm going to be telling you about how you can get grade 9s in any GCSE language. So we got French, German, Spanish, whatever. Here are my evidence-based tips and tricks which should hopefully help you to get an amazing grade in any language that you do. Let's get straight into it. So the timestamps for today's video is how to memorize all the vocab, how to ace your listening exam, how to ace your speaking exam, and also how to master your technique. So let's jump into how to memorize all the vocab. When you're not fluent in a language, it can be really hard to get to grips with the vocab, the different spellings, and it can actually seem really overwhelming at first. Your success in the exam basically works on how well you can utilize your phrases and words that you've memorized throughout the year in order to write high quality answers. So what I would recommend is that you prioritize listening and reading, as this will really help you with the other parts of the course. And it's really important that you gain some useful words from this, as well as learn how to use the correct grammar. As a fun way to mix things up and take a little bit of a break away from hardcore revision, I would really recommend reading children's books in the language that you're revising. For example, you can read a French version of Roald Dahl books, or you can also watch French TV, because this will help you to see how people talk in a conversation style and not just the way that you were taught in lessons. Because I feel like exams that they expect you to listen to are a lot different. You really need to get used to the speed and the fluency of a natural speaker in that language to be prepared for that exam. This will also help you to put words into context. So for example, let's say you watch a French show with no captions and you just listen to it. You basically just have to use context clues and the words that you know to be able to understand what's going on. This will help you not only increase your vocab but also increase your listening skills. The best way to actually memorize vocab is through spaced repetition and active recall. If you don't know what these things are, let me just break it down quickly for you. So active recall is basically the retrieval of information through asking yourself questions, and it basically activates your brain and makes it easier for you to memorize things over time. This is way better than any passive revision such as highlighting your notes, writing things over and over, because this actually tests you in the same way you'll be tested in the exam. So this is really helpful for vocabulary. You can basically make a big bank of vocab flashcards, and you can test yourself on this by using the English translation of the words or phrase, and then on the back you'll put the word or the phrase in the language that you're studying, and you just split back and forth until you memorize it. You should also try to mix up your flashcards. Try not to do them in the same order, just to make sure that you truly know it and you've truly memorized it off by heart, rather than just memorizing the order, because it's easy to do that sometimes. Set yourself a goal each week. For example, you can say I'm going to memorize 10 words or 10 phrases a week, and this is just something that you can naturally build up over time. And with languages, it's really important that you don't cram it, because it's really hard to cram a whole language. You need to slowly build up this bank of knowledge and vocab and phrases over time, and you can embed it in your work naturally. So you should also do spaced repetition. This basically works on something called the forgetting curve. With languages, it's so easy to memorize words, but if you don't recall it after a while, all of that content is going to be out of your brain and you would have wasted time. You honestly need to go back to topics at intervals to make sure that you still know it, and if you don't know it, it gives you a chance to learn it again. And the more that you learn it, the more that it will stay in your brain. So for example, let's say I learned a specific word on Monday. I would want to revisit it on Tuesday and then revisit it in 1 week. And then gradually I can start to increase the intervals that I record these things, such as 1 month, and it could be 2 months. If I realize that I forgot the word, then the intervals decrease again back to 1 day and 1 week. Small and short bursts of consistent revision is way better than long sessions of cramming, and it will benefit you more in the long run. You can also do something called blurting. So if you don't know what blurting is basically the act of retrieving information from your mind and basically writing everything you know about a topic on a sheet of paper. I find this really helpful, because this basically shows what you know and also shows what you don't know, because then you can write it in another pen. And you can basically do this for your languages by putting a topic or a certain speaking point in the middle of the page. For example, you can talk about holidays, and then from the holidays you can write down the vocab that you would use, the key words, the phrases, the tenses. All of this stuff will just reinforce your information in your brain and also help you to start planning essays, because every single time you plan one of these blurts, that is basically acting as active recall and also reconsolidating the information in your brain, meaning that in the exam you'll spend less time thinking about what you're going to write and actually just write it, which is amazing. Hola, mi llamo Shola, and it's basically Shola from the future. So guys, I want to announce something. I've actually decided to learn a language myself. I'm currently learning Spanish. If you're wondering why I'm learning this all of a sudden during university and why I didn't study at a GCSE, here's why. So when I was in secondary school, I had different interests at the time. I honestly wanted to do something else for GCSE, and also I didn't like the way that GCSE languages were taught at school. I feel like it doesn't really teach you how to speak at a conversation level, and that is honestly what I want to get to. I want to be able to go to a country, be able to speak with the local people, communicate with everyone, and the GCSE just wasn't the best way for me to do this. So guys, the app that I'm using right now, it's honestly such an amazing app. If you haven't heard of it, get to know it. It's called Rosetta Stones. Rosetta Stones is an immersive language learning platform, and you can use this as an app or on the website on your computer. So this app basically combines AI technology, active recall, and voice recognition, and all of this just helps you to effectively learn the language and also learn how to pronounce it right, because it's all well and good to know a word, but if you can't pronounce it right, that basically throws you off the game. So guys, I recorded a few clips here and there of me learning the language, and let's just say I was humbled by the voice recognition feature. El come. Okay. Adios. But it's a work in process, and I'm definitely improving my skills and my accent. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Rosetta Stones is an immersive, modern way of learning languages, and it's honestly probably the best thing out there right now for language. You can get up to 50% off all subscriptions using the link in my description, and this also includes the lifetime package. The lifetime package basically gives you lifetime access to 24 different languages all at once. If you find that you love learning languages, or you've always wanted to learn a new language, definitely check this out. It's such an amazing platform. There's so much to learn. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. Link is in the description. Don't miss out. So now let's talk about how you can ace your listening exam. When I was doing French in year 9, I used to dread the listening exam because it goes from your teacher speaking so slowly and so simply to you. It almost seems like they're speaking at a speed of like 5 times. It's crazy. If you're not fluent in the language, it can be so hard to pick out words. Sometimes they just throw in red herrings which aren't relevant to the passage at all, and they also put sound effects in the background. It can honestly be really overwhelming if you don't practice this. So you need to make sure you prioritize listening, because you don't want to lose all your marks on listening and do better in the other exams. Listening is just as important, and it's probably the hardest part. Watching TV shows and movies can especially help you to get used to the speed that they talk, and also just general conversation words. You can also take things from these shows, from these movies, and add it to your bank of vocab. To test yourself even more, you can basically turn off the captions and then just listen to it as it is, and you'll be able to use context clues and the knowledge that you know before to be able to understand what's going on in the scene. And most importantly, when you're doing these exams, don't panic. They're going to use words that you don't know, and that's okay. What is testing you on to use the content that you do know to decipher what the passage is saying. Just make sure you listen out for words that you know and try to build it up in your mind. Even if you have to guess, that is better than writing nothing. Use the reading time that you have at the start properly. Write down the keywords, the questions, and just things that you have to listen out for in the passage. And also listen out for red herrings and start to memorize these. For example, the person in the passage can say something like, my sister likes, or my sister says. It doesn't matter about their sister. Focus on what they are talking about. Focus on what they like. The exam tries to do this to catch people out who aren't really listening. So please keep your ears open and keep in mind about these kind of red herrings and errors and things like this that they can throw at you, and don't be caught out by it. Now let's talk about how you can ace the speaking exam. So the speaking exam for a lot of people must be something that is really scary. You're thinking, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna say things that I shouldn't say, and it's honestly one of those things where once you say it, that's pretty much it. What you need to focus on is practicing. Whether you practice with a friend, your teacher, your mom, your dad, anyone in your family, any practice will benefit you in the long run. You can ask your teacher or look online for a bank of different topics and different talking points, and start to think about what you would say for each talking point. Start to make these sentences and phrases in your head, and start to think about keywords that you could use that would especially impress the examiner. Whether you mentally or physically practice these will definitely help you in the exam. So some people have a photo section where they have to describe a photo. Use loads of photos when you're preparing. Search on Google, search a random beach, search a random school, and just try to describe it in that language. The more practice you have, even if it's things like just talking about the weather, it really helps you to start to form these sentences on your own in your mind. And the more practice you do, the more exposure, the better. You can also ask your teacher to give you different prompts and different pictures, and then check with them with your answer and see if you do well. And if you know anyone fluent in the language, that is just really useful, because you can go and talk to them, your sentences flow, they make sense, and it's just really helpful to know that you have someone on the other side who actually understands what you're saying and can give you critical feedback. This person can be your teacher, it can be someone in your family, it can be friends, anyone who can help. It will definitely go a long way. Now let's talk about how to master your exam technique. So you can know the language like the back of your hand, but if you don't know how the exam works, you're not going to get the most marks. So what better way is there to master your exam technique than doing past papers? Past papers are made by the exam boards who are going to write your exams in the summer. So this is the best way you can increase your exposure and also learn how to answer the questions and get the marks. So when you're doing translation questions, for example, there may be words that you don't understand, but whilst you're practicing, this gives you the opportunity to learn those words. For now, just leave them behind and try to translate every other word that you know, and make sure that you include all of the words. You might want to reduce some of the words to make it make sense in English, but you should directly translate every single word there is into English. Don't leave anything out. As you practice more and more, you will pick up these words, and you can also add these to your vocab bank so that you can use them in the future. And different exam questions require different skills, and you can write something for one question and not get marks for it, but for another question it could give you all the marks. So you need to know what each question is asking you. For example, a 16-mark question may be asking you for something more specific, and maybe it's asking you for specific keywords. But the 32 marker may just be your overall creativity, the way that you write, the tenses that you use. So start to learn and start to give your papers to your teachers to mark, and then you start to pick up what you need to write to get those marks, so you waste less time. So do past papers under time conditions, and also try to do them without notes, because you're not going to get the notes in the exam. And language is all about how much you can memorize, all the vocab, all the phrases, all the tenses. So the more you do past papers, the more you test yourself, the better. And go to your teacher for detailed advice afterwards so you can see where you can improve. Once you do these past papers, please do not throw them away. Do not make this mistake. These are really crucial for your review right before the exam. So build up this bank of past papers you've done, and then you can look through them, highlight any key vocab, highlight anything that you've learned. Every single past paper should be a step towards you getting an amazing grade. So always get something from one past paper, even if it's just like you used the wrong tense in one sentence. That is something that you got and something that you can think about in the next exam. Highlight the complex phrases and keywords, and you can make these into flashcards, and this will also improve your vocab. And you can even ask your teacher to make you some questions. So sometimes it's hard to do past papers, especially when you haven't covered all the content. But if you ask your teacher to write a question on the topic you're currently covering, this will help you, and it will prevent you from leaving all your practicing to the end and not having time to do every paper. So guys, we're coming to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed that and you found it useful. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and also check out my playlist about other specific subject advice so that you can get the best grades in all of your exams. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!